Gaijin's like Oprah with bombers these days, and you get a B-29, and you get a B-29. Now we just need some more Spitfire Mach 9s and F-84s, am I right? Come on Gaijin, complete the circle. Good afternoon, you wee bastards, and welcome back to War Thunder with Koala, and today we're taking a look at a famous World War II prop aircraft? Gaijin, this isn't a high-tier premium. God, get it right next time. Wink, double upload today, stay tuned. So, the German super fortress that has all-round weaker defensive AA and carries less than half the payload. Actually, this payload carried by the Me.264 seems to be a point of contempt, but we'll discuss that in a little while. First, let's talk a little bit about the history of this aircraft because it actually has quite an interesting story. The aircraft was actually originally designed to be a long-range reconnaissance platform rather than a true bomber. The Germans obviously favoured the tactics we know from the Blitzkrieg, striking more quickly than any hostile defence could be made ready to counter, and so powerful, long-range strategic bombers weren't a huge focus, as we can pretty clearly see from how few of them Germany had during the war. Still, in the spring of 1942, Germany had obviously begun to realise that long-range bombing was going to be a significant part of this war, and they needed something to get the job done. Unlike the devastating strikes against London and other parts of Britain, Germany hadn't been capable of attacking American soil since the final days of World War I. There were no aircraft in Luftwaffe service capable of undertaking the massive transatlantic flight, even with a potential stop in the Azores owned by Portugal. What Germany required was a whole new scale of bomber that would be capable of reaching America and returning home from the French coastline airfields she controlled at the time. Hence the birth of the Amerikabomber project, which Messerschmitt submitted the Me.264 as a proposal for. So while not originally designed with the intention of long-range bombing missions, the Me.264 was one of the lead designs for the project, alongside the Junkers Ju-390, which was actually selected by Hitler as the winning design due to its using parts from the already produced Ju-290. Other proposals were Focke-Wulf's TAR-400 and FW-300, the latter taking over from this aircraft as a potential replacement to the Kriegsmarine's Focke-Wulf 200 Condor, although it was never built. Heinkel's HE-277, an upgraded derivative of the Heinkel 177 Greif with two twin BMW 801 radial engine nacelles, and the Horten brothers flying wing jet design, the H-18. Basically a massive Horten 229. Now, the ability for all of these bombers to reach America relied upon them being able to refuel in the Azores. So when the Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Salazar, by the way that is the sickest name in history, allowed Allied aircraft to refuel in the Azores, that threw a spanner in the works. Only the Ju-390 would actually be able to make the trip, and by the time the aircraft was ready, Germany no longer controlled the coastal regions of France, and so the German bombing of American cities, thankfully, never happened. And this is what makes the Amerikabomber project so interesting, as it has this reputation for being the factor that almost turned the tides of the war. That would have made the crews who managed to destroy the prototypes with bombs some real heroes, although I doubt the significance of their achievements were realised at the time. Now, I personally don't think that even if the Amerikabomber project had become fruitful, that Germany could have won the war. Their fate was sealed long before that in my opinion, and I may make a video in the future talking about why, because it's a pretty interesting story that not many people know, but keep in mind that I am, of course, biased. The Ju-390 is reported to have apparently flown to New York and Japan, although reports of these test flights have never been confirmed and no evidence existed to say that they ever happened. The Me.264, however, only one prototype of the original 6 planned made it to operational stage, the 6 being cut down to 3 before construction even began, and 2 of the 3 being bombed out by the Allies before completion. The one that was completed only made short test flights, but it was known to be unable to make the long trips it would have to if it were carrying large ordnance loads. Basically, to increase ordnance carrying capability, you had to carry more fuel, and the carrying capacity of the aircraft just wouldn't allow for that. This is why a lot of people have been complaining that the Me.264 appears to be having unhistorically poor bomb loads in-game. Now, firstly, I would be very cautious about making claims as to what is a historically accurate bomb loadout for a plane that only existed in a single prototype form and never carried anything in this form, because when it comes down to the facts, you just can't always trust manufacturers' notes on what an aircraft will be able to handle. In-game, the maximum bomb loadout for the Me.264, shown on the test server that War Thunder's official channel live-streamed a couple of days ago, was 4,350 kilograms, in the form of two 1,800 kilogram bombs and 3 half-tonners. To put that into perspective, the maximum bomb load for a Heinkel 177 is over 5 tons. It's the same as the maximum load of the 264, but with 3 extra 500 kilogram bombs. And a B-29 can carry a max loadout of 10 tons in the form of 40 500-pound bombs. I'll be honest, the B-29 is in a whole other weight class, but the Me.264 does carry a bigger bomb load than a B-24 or Lancaster, which both have a 4-ton max. That means that it can take out a base with ordnance to spare, and it does use 4 BMW 801 engines, giving it a top speed of well over 500 kph. But at the same time, this aircraft is not quite on par with the Heinkel 177, and I don't think it gets access to the Fritz X, at least I didn't see it on the test server livestream. You also lack a bit of defensive armament over the 177, with basically the same overall firepower, but no defense underneath the fuselage, which will be a huge issue when the P-47s and P-51s come stall climbing for you. The Me.264 is one of the first aircraft to feature large fuel tanks in the wings, so expect to be set on fire a lot. You also lack speed over the Heinkel 177, so keep that in mind as well. Having said all of that, I have absolutely no clue where this aircraft will be placed. I mean, it's better than a Lancaster, which being a British bomber has the same problem with defensive armament underneath the aircraft, and has less speed and overall less air defense capability, along with a smaller bomb load, yet the Lancaster sits above the Heinkel 177, which is superior to this aircraft. And on the test server, of course guys, it's only test server, so in other words a very early dev server, things can change, especially battle ratings, but on that server, it had a battle rating of only 4.7, a full 1.0 BR lower than the Lancaster that it is blatantly superior to in every way. Basically what I'm saying is that the balance of bombers in game is horrendous right now. It's absolutely abhorrent and needs to be looked at. The Heinkel 177 is blatantly better than the B-24, with around 50 km per hour better speed, a bigger bomb load, and roughly equal air defense capability overall, and yet sits 0.7 BR lower. Now, I'm not saying that it should sit at a higher battle rating than the B-24, it's only slightly better than it. It's not even close to B-29 levels of performance, which the B-29 would make for a good 6.7 or even 7.0 bomber, allowing the Heinkel 177 and the British Lincoln maybe to go to 6.3, but at least a raise to 6.0, given that it is better than the other 6.0 bombers in game. That's what battle ratings are for, Gaijin. If this aircraft, the Me.264, is going to be placed at BR 4.7, then when are we seeing the Lancaster down tiered to 4.3, huh Gaijin? How about the B-24 down at 5.0? I've got to say, I seem to be parroting myself with this quite a bit lately. It almost seems like Gaijin has forgotten what balance is about, and of course they were never perfect with balancing vehicles in this game, but the nature of the game just doesn't allow for perfect balance ever, but it used to be better than this. The Me.264 should perform basically with the B-24, although it is a bigger and less manoeuvrable aircraft, not that that's really a factor with long-range strategic bombers. It's a wee bit faster and has a bomb load a wee bit bigger, roughly the same AA defense capability, and therefore should sit at the same BR. It's not, however, a new top-tier prop bomber for Germany. The best one will still be the Heinkel 177, at least as far as the long-range strategic bombers go, which therefore needs to sit at least 6.0, or the American bombers need down-tiering. Now, of course, the aircraft aren't exactly the same, and their effectiveness isn't easy to stack up against each other in an exactly balanced way. Like I said, the nature of War Thunder just prevents perfect balance. For example, the German bombers are being attacked by walls of M2 and M350 cal rounds, rather than a bunch of MG151s and machine cannon 30mm. Keep in mind that I'm going by a closest possible kind of balancing scheme. And of course, I haven't flown the Me.264 yet, nobody has, so I guess if you want to tell me that I'm wrong about balance because I haven't gotten the aircraft yet, then you're essentially shooting yourself in the foot with that argument, because neither have you. But, you know, opinions are opinions, everyone's got them. I think I've made my case for why something like the Heinkel 177 is superior to the B-24, in every way, but if you think I'm wrong and that the Heinkel 177 deserves a place 0.7 BR below that, and the Me.264 even further below that, then please let me know why you think that in the comments. If you'll notice that I haven't brought up the Ju-288, well, That one is quite interesting, as it has a smaller bomb load, but far better speed. It's a medium bomber, not a long-range, heavy strategic bomber. It's not as capable of winning matches, because prop bombers can rarely make more than one pass and survive, and the Ju-288 can only kill one base per flyout. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. 5.7 maybe? But it's more the spamming of it that was an infamous issue, and that's died down quite noticeably since the plane's introduction, so I guess it's fine where it is. 5.7 wouldn't hurt. The last thing I really want to discuss here is that, well, Germany has just about taken over from America for being the quote-unquote bomber spam nation. It used to always be, oh, American bomber spam, allies don't have the numbers to compete because half their team of bombers, 109s and 190s winning every game easy as could be, because if you were a bomber pilot, well, even if you are patriotically German, or God forbid French or Italian, America does have the best bombers, and Russia is probably next on that list. They have quite a few good ones, but in my experience, they're less well known than something like a Heinkel 111, and far less than a B-17, Lancaster, or B-29, so American bombers were getting spammed out because America was home to the vast majority of the game's avid bomber pilots. These days, however, American bombers have been dicked over with repair costs, because repair costs totally balance problems, don't they, Gaijin? Please keep doing what you're doing, it doesn't create any problems now, does it? But not only that, Germany has gotten some really competitive bombers. In the past, maybe 18 months, we've seen the BV-238, Heinkel 177, Ju-288C, and now the Me.264. We didn't have any of them back when American bomber spam was at its worst. I have a habit of using these devblog coverage videos as outlets for making suggestions about things that need changing or implementing. When something new is added, I often get caught up in the hype train, my brain runs away with me, and I start talking about, now this needs to happen, this is a sign of this in the future, now it's time to work on this part of the game, blah blah blah. I'm sure a lot of you lads are thinking, whoa, calm down Koala, it's only one vehicle. I'm only human. This video, I've actually gone off on several tangents about bombers in general and strayed away from the Me.264 itself, but look, it's not like this plane's introduction heralds the implementation of more of this vehicle type in future. I mean, besides maybe a couple of new variants like the B-50 version of the Super Fortress, there aren't too many more bombers out there that we could add unless Gaijin goes into tier 6 bomber territory, which I've already done my piece on. This isn't a hugely major addition, not really. But although this might not be any more significant a time than any other to rework bomber gameplay to be more, I guess, friendly to RRB and less invasive to the gameplay experience, to give you the rundown, bombers might as well be playing a separate game to the rest of us, and they are always either completely OP or completely useless. There never seems to be a middle ground. Look, there are a billion different possible ways to rework bomber gameplay to make it work better and air realistic, and I know I'm just another pilot asking for bomber changes, and in the grand scheme of things, my opinions and my hopes and wishes really don't matter all that much. But yeah, it's been long enough, Gaijin. Now we have another long-range strategic bomber coming into the game, and I know you kind of want to do tier 6 bombers, and there are a lot of players who would want that too. Please put some solid time and effort into reworking bombers. There's not a single pilot who wouldn't appreciate you for it. If you agree, leave a like on this video and let me know in the comments. The Me.264 itself isn't really likely to shake things up at all. It's just another bomber when it comes down to it. There's no meta changes this thing will bring. As I said, the Heinkel 177 Greif is still the superior bomber, and the Ju-288C is definitely better for grinding with if you have it. Honestly, the main reason I would play this, if I were still any sort of bomber pilot, I'm not really, but the main reason I'd play it is because it's a beautiful aircraft. I can say this about a lot of German designs. Not a lot of the prototypes, some of them are just weird. But the 109s and 190s, the TAR 152 obviously, Focke-Wulf 200, the Heinkel 177, Dornier 335, and of course the good old Me.262, they are gorgeous aircraft. I love the way they look. Of course, I'm partial to a good Spitfire or Lancaster, I certainly think those are better looking, but of course I'm biased once again. But the Me.264 is without a doubt a gorgeous aircraft. That sleek round fuselage, very thin empennage. I can remember someone saying on the livestream that it looks very fragile. And of course that twin tail, along with the massive wingspan of this aircraft. I actually kind of want to play it just for that reason. It's beautiful. Maybe we'll get some of the guys from Alban Squadron together and do a squad battle or the thing when the patch drops, or perhaps some custom battles, you know, Me.264s versus Stormers and Breadats. Oh, by the way, the Alva Stormer is coming. Starstreaks, get pumped. Anyway lads, I'm going to leave it here for this video because I want to get to work on another one on the new premium AMX30. That's right, France has 2 premium AMX30s now. I hope you lads enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, join the 360 squad, and be sure to let me know your thoughts on the vehicle and the video in the comments section below. As always, come follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Shout out to all the lads who were around for my live stream today. It was a lot of fun. Going to be live again in a few hours, so if you can, come hang out with us, come join the Discord, and check out Patreon if you wish to support the channel further, or come join us in Dion Alban Squad. Anyway, thank you lads all for watching, have a lovely good day, and always remember, keep your bagpipes close at hand, keep your kilt on, and I shall see you next video. I say a wee thank you to these lads for supporting me on Patreon. Captain Fubar, DA261, Gisli Gadarson, and Dark Recon. You lads are bra. If you wish to join them, come check out the link in the description below.